Okay, so I'm in CMAC today with Mr. 10-0 Keogh,
one.
just back from the Four Nations. So I just want to go back to the start of your career though. How long ago did you start and why did you start?
Yeah, so Jesus, I think I started, I must have been about 14 starting. So I'm 21 now, so a long time now. And to be honest, a lot of people don't know that I started because I was a fat little fuck, to be honest, when I was a young fella. And I just kind of started to lose weight. And that was really where it kicked off. I was doing a little bit of kickboxing at the start, and I was just in the local community centre once a week kind of thing. And that was really kind of where I got into martial arts. It was only, you know, like in every Friday evening or whatever. And then I remember a few of the lads saying, oh, there's a club down the road that's doing MMA. And at the time, I think I was talking to you before on this, I was, you know, I used to love Brock Lesnar and Anderson Silva and GSP on the 2010 UFC game. So I used to be like, oh, you know, that'd be cool to get into. And then obviously wanting to kind of lose a little bit of weight and all, I was thinking, you know, geez, that'd be deadly. So I remember rocking up. We had a different club at the time down in Damestown, and me and one of my mates went down, and yeah, I just kicked off from there. Kind of, you know, your usual like cliche, walk in the gym and kind of fell in love with it from there. And I never stopped. First fight at 14, down the Novice, and then just got the ball rolling from there. Yeah.
And how did it feel? Like when you came in, you wanted to lose weight, and then obviously you got the bug like everyone does once they actually step foot in the gym. What was it like then having those novice fights, that novice fight for the first time? Like what kind of feelings and emotions did you have going in? Was it nervous, excitement, or?
Yeah, like fighting's mad. Like the first time, obviously you fight. Like before you fight for your first time, you can't wait to do it. Then like before you're warming up, you're like, oh shit, what am I getting myself into? Like, you know. But that's why we were kind of always forced to like nearly get in, do as many of them novice fights as you can, because obviously they really prepared me for my amateur kind of career. But yeah, like you're really nervous at the same time because your first fight, your first like few smacks, you don't know what to expect. But getting in there doing them they were great. Like you could do them nearly every week. Like, you know, they were like 2-minute rounds, you know, stuff like this. I think the first one I actually did was out in Andy Ryan's club in Rhino, and they were deadly. You know, there was some experience to do for your first fight. Like obviously at the time, and you're hearing like Paul Redman and Neil Seary, you're like, oh, I'm fighting out in the UFC fighters gym, like you being like, was it 14? It's good experience, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that it is a good experience as young lads. So through the novices then, obviously you were getting the slaps and all, but through novice there's no headshots, there is the 2 minutes around. So when you went into amateur to do your first fight, knowing then you're going to be getting slapped in the face, talk us through like just leading up to that. And like, was there more nerves knowing that you were going to be getting hit in the face, or did it even matter to you at that stage?
Yeah, well, actually, novice competitions back then were a bit different. Novice competitions then, the rule set was, there wasn't actually really, it was before kind of the governing body for MMA in the country. So there was headshots back then. Yeah, I remember there was knees to the body actually. I remember for a while they stopped knees to the body because I actually hurt the young fella out there. So the rules kind of changed from my first MMA fight, my first novice MMA fight. But I think I ended up having like 11, and they were all headshots nearly. So I was a teenager and I was fighting like adults and stuff like that. So it was always go crack, like, you know. So it was never really anything. It was just the only thing that was different was really a fighting on shows.
Yeah.
So the rules and then maybe headshots on the ground, but it was more the fact of like it's an amateur career now, and that's kind of a bit bigger than novice, and that was really the only step up kind of than the actual rules itself.
Okay, yeah, because obviously now there is actually so many rules, like there is so much difference because obviously they want to try and get it legalised and so we can try and get funding for when you go over to shows like for the IMAFs and stuff like that. So talk us then through your amateur career, your first few fights. Like obviously you're 10-0, so you haven't lost. When you were going in, like once you had your first amateur fight, were you planning on this being a career, or were you just fighting just to see how it went?
Yeah, no, like this was always kind of nearly the plan. It was actually nearly the plan from novice. It was kind of like, yeah, I want to do this. Like, you know, this is deadly. But I had a few K1 fights just before also, and just that was kind of like you get that real smack in there, smack in the cage, because I actually had a cage K1 fight on K's Legacy, and it was like that kind of being in there and getting a good smack. That was kind of where I was like, yeah, I wanted to do that. But I had a team fight then actually, just before I went amateur, and I was down in Rebels MMA, and that was kind of really where I was like, yeah, like I really want to do this. Like I want to make a career out of this. So that was kind of where it all kicked on. It was on Rebels MMA, and they done like a Thai boxing show on one half of it and an MMA show on the other half. So it was like
Yeah.
split down the middle, and it was cool. Yeah, it was very good down there.
That actually sounds cool. I do like the Thai fights as well, because
Yeah.
obviously there's so many weapons that you can choose from with your elbows and stuff, and the
Yeah.
striking is so good with Thai. Throughout, obviously there was a break during COVID. Like, do you think that has hindered your progress much, or do you think you'd still be like, obviously you'd have more fights, but do you think, would you've maybe been turned pro now, or are you still planning on staying amateur for a good while?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think it definitely kind of obviously took everybody back, but everyone was in the same boat. We probably lost a bit of the hunger, to be honest, over the COVID. It kind of made us, like, you know, lazy nearly for a while. Obviously, you're not allowed up to the gym, you can't train, you're eating, and you're kind of doing whatever. So it kind of did make us a bit lazy, because before that, I think I had my first amateur fight in 2018. I was actually 5-0. Then I kind of went 5-0 kind of fairly quick. It was my first fight was 2018. Then I had, I think, about 4 amateur fights in 2019, something similar to that. So it was kind of, we were always fighting, you know. And then obviously COVID hits, and then you're not fighting whatsoever. You're not even training. Like at that time, I was like, you know, during the summers off school, I was training like 2-3 times a day, all that crack. So from going from full on intense training to not training whatsoever, like, really does hinder like your career, obviously, like, you know, getting back fit, getting back sharp, all these things. And then obviously mentally it's like that was obviously the biggest thing. Obviously you probably don't think you're gonna like go straight back into fighting as quick, but it made me a bit more hungrier at coming towards the end of it. I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? This is a sport I love. Why am I sitting around not training as much? Just get back in and start fighting again. And that's what I did. Got me first fight then back in December of last year, just gone, and that was it. Get the ball rolling, get back in, fight as much as possible, and just do what I love. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been hard. Like, what did click in you towards the end? Was it just the 2 years of being off, not training, not eating? Not that you were pigging out, but just not eating properly, like keeping yourself to a diet. Like, it's hard to go from that to being back to being motivated. So what was it that clicked? Was it, like you said, just thinking, this is what I want to do, I need to get back to it?
Yeah, it was a bit of everything. Like, it was a bit of like, I haven't fought in 2 years. I haven't fought just get back in as soon as possible. But the first time it kind of really hit me was we were up in Clanmores and Alex was fighting, Trevor was fighting, and on the way back home, just kind of talking to Alex, like, he has a way of words with people, like, especially with his own fighters, you know, having that special bond, and that kind of, we had like a conversation coming home kind of about fighting, and basically you can get to wherever you want to be nearly through your hard work and just, you know, kind of these chats. And on the way home, kind of from there, that was when I was really like, you know, get me a fight from then on. And then I obviously got offered the fight then a few weeks later for the cage conflict belt, and I was like, yeah, give me I'll fight whenever, like, kind of thing. Now we just need to get back in once that first fight is over. It's kind of getting back in and having your first fight is probably the hardest thing, you know. It's, oh shit, I haven't fought in over 2 years. Am I going to be ring rust? Am I going to be this? Am I going to be that? So once I had the first fight, then got that out of the way, everything else is just easy then from then on in. Yeah.
So how was it actually getting back in? Did you feel any ring? Obviously you won, but did you feel any different than previously, or because you were so far removed from your last fight, did it feel different than the last time you fought?
No, like, I actually felt better. I think, like, every time you fight, you do feel better, no matter how long it is. I don't know if ring rust, like, is a myth. I think it depends for certain people, and it depends on your situation as well. For me, I actually loved it. Like, I got back, like, from me walkout, I was like, yes, like, I'm back and getting in there. And in there, I felt little. I felt really good. I felt better than I ever had felt. Because obviously, like, as a fighter, like the people think, like, I don't know what they think about experience, but we've always been taught experience. So every time you get in there, you do feel better. And for me, the ring rust wasn't a thing. It was just, I was better in there. I felt in my own head. Anyway, maybe I don't know. I was looking back at the video, but in my own head, I did feel a lot better while I was in the cage. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, experience is, especially with the coach that you have, experience is going to be a big part of your career, because obviously he's got the most amateur fights.
Yeah, he's a
what's it like training under someone like Alex, who's been around such a long time? I was here speaking to him. He is going pro.
Yeah.
What does Alex mean to you as a coach?
Yeah, like, everything, like, you know, when I don't even think it's just me, I think it's all of us in the gym. Like, obviously, he was fighting amateur when I was only starting out MMA, like, before I would even had any novice fights. So you're looking at someone that's like, I think at the time, I'm saying like 4-5 and on, you're like, geez, like, that's deadly. And then all these years later, every time he's went to the IMAFs and medalled every time. So like, how can you not listen, or how can you not take advice from someone who's so experienced, has had like 50 odd boxing fights, has had belts in K1, jiu-jitsu, judo, MMA? You'd have to be some sort of stupid not to take his advice on and like soak up everything he's saying and be here in the gym every night training and trying to do what he's doing and trying to do what he's done in the amateur scene. So it's great, yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, no, he has. I think with the rate that the fights, the likes of the Four Nations that have gone on, the Super Cup that had his had his first event this year. With that saying, I think people are going to start catching up on him pretty quickly because there wasn't those when he was around. But obviously, him and Deb's doing a fantastic job there. And he told me last time, I think he thinks they're the first two to both come mother and son to compete in the IMAS, which is a pretty cool stat.
It's deadly, yeah.
So throughout your amateur career, what fight so far have you found you've learned the most from? What was your toughest fight that you learned the most from so far?
The toughest fight, I think the Nationals was probably the toughest, and it was probably over the 2 days, just purely for the fact of like, not like nothing. I don't ever feel like when you're in there, like it's like, oh, this is like really tough. Obviously it is, but I feel like the mental aspect of being tough, as in, right, I'm fighting on a Friday and I'm fighting on a Saturday. I think that's kind of your toughest.
Yeah.
I think that for me was probably my toughest thing, but I think it was the best thing for me. Like, you know, I actually didn't really feel nervous going into it whatsoever, but it was just kind of it was a weird feeling, like, you know, like normally you get to chill out after your first fight. Yeah. You know, going into both fights, I actually wasn't nervous whatsoever, and I think that was the first time I really had no really nerves at all. But it was a thing of like trying to just stay on track. Right, I'm at the fight on Friday, right, I had to stay on track and just make sure. Well, I was like 3 kilo under, so the weight wasn't an issue, but it was just kind of a mental thing. Like, you have to nearly know you have to get back in there and be in fight mode straight away, and that was probably one of the hardest things I have done. And obviously I can't wait to do it again for IMAFs, and obviously I only had the one at the Four Nations, but yeah, I think just the mental thing of you're at the fighting, stay in fight mode and get back in and do it again was probably the toughest, but nothing overly tough so far anyway. But that's why I'm doing amateur, to get all these tough fights in, you know.
Yeah. No, and then especially you've got the likes of Jordan and Alex who both have been to IMAFs and stuff like that, so were they able to give you advice on the two? Because obviously the IMAFs would be the day on, and you had to weigh in both days for the national as well. Obviously weight was an issue, whereas I think that becomes sort of like a mental thing then for fighters who are close to weight. Did Alex or Jordan or any of the other guys give you any advice on how to get through the 2 days?
Yeah, like everyone in the gym has nearly fought in the IMAFs, like, you know, so there was like, well, obviously I don't think me and Ross, maybe not, like even Trevor and Emil and Koya, there's been loads of IMAF fighters, like, so the experience in the gym is here. So yeah, like it was just there, it was for that, like even Alex, like he's like no nerves getting in there, so for him it was like kind of a weight thing, which really wasn't an issue. So as I was going back to saying about kind of just staying fight ready and focused, he was just like kind of giving me tips, like as in, like, obviously you don't want to go home and just like pig out and just not be focused. It was kind of like just go home, chill out. You're in your own like town. Like I was in Dublin, like I wasn't away. You know, so we get to go home, chill out with your family, and just make sure you're like fight ready for tomorrow. And I was, like, to be fair, like, you know, just get back in there and do the same thing as you did yesterday, like, you know, and fucking win the fight.
Yeah. No, it was, you had very impressive performance over the 2 fights. I know Ron Deegan was one, and then you got to the finals. Yeah. And then you and Jordan both got to the finals.
Yeah.
and then you split it. Was there anything said by the officials or anything like that? Were they okay with you splitting it? Because obviously you're teammates, you can't fight each other. Was there any issues brought up because of that?
No, I don't think so. Not really. We still had to make weight on the Sunday actually as well. So we still had to make weight on the Sunday. But no, everything was all cool. Like, you know, it'd be different. Like, I think as well, like the way we did that and the way we did it in the Four Nations, it's different because over here, obviously, like everyone's from Ireland. Over there, it was kind of like, oh well, you're gonna have to face your teammates. But teammates to them is just someone from the same country, not someone from your same gym. And like how close we are. Like if it had been someone from the same nation as me, but from a different gym, where you'd fight, not a bother. But because we're so close, we'd never fight. Like there's no need. Like we're amateurs. We're not getting paid. I'm sure if there was 100 grand on them, we'd say, well, yeah, come on, we jump in and do it. We split 50 each. I'm sure we both would have done it then, like, you know. But we're fucking amateurs. We're so close. We do everything together. Like not just me and Jordan, but the whole gym. Like we're all so close. It's not even an option. You're just not gonna fight whatsoever. So I didn't really care what they said. We weren't gonna do it. Like, you know, we weren't gonna fight. Like anyway, and that was in my head, of course.
Yeah, no, I like that. I want to ask you a question. How did it feel for you and your teammate to both make it together to the final like that and then share the goal? That must be an amazing feeling.
It's even better than doing it on your own. Like, you're doing it as a team. Like, a lot of people don't think of this as a team sport, but like, they also tell you at the same thing, your work is done months out before the fight, weeks out before the fight. But who are you doing that with? You're doing it with your team. You're doing it with your teammates. You're doing it with your coaches. You're doing it with all these different people. If the fight is 1 month out training with your teammates, then there's a little bit of a team sport. You're only in a cage for 9 minutes, where you're buzzed up on adrenaline, like, and it's all your reactions working together. So who's helping me doing this? My teammates. So it's even better when you have someone like Jordan and Ross and all these in the gym, and you're winning with them. It just it makes it so much more. It makes it special that you can do it and do it with them. Yeah. So that's just my way of thinking of it, anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, I'm going to move on to the Four Nations now. Obviously, you said you only have the one fight. Tell us what it was like going over there with the guys, because this then obviously like I said, the guys have been to these things before. This was the first one ever. How does it feel to be part of the first one ever and then share gold again with Jordan? For that. What was the experience like?
The experience was deadly. It was probably one of the best things I've done, to be honest. Like, I hadn't, obviously, as we said, done an IMAFs, so this was my first international experience representing your country. I don't think there was ever a better feeling, to be honest. It was class, and it was also great. There was such a good vibe around the team. Like, all of us were getting on well. We were all good. We were warming up together. We were doing everything together. So just being around that environment was class. And then obviously, like, you had like all UFC fighters like Meatball and Molly floating around, and Dan Hardy, one of Dan Hardy's guys fought Ross and stuff. So you're kind of like looking at these people on telly, and then you're looking across the cage and stuff from them. You're like, what the fuck? Like, this is deadly, like, you know. And then obviously you see like kind of Paddy floating around and all. The experience as a whole, like, it was a combination of different things. Obviously, from seeing this to the whole team doing so well, which was the most important thing, and like everyone being like, I don't want to get Ireland in the final, like, was just, yeah, it was brilliant. Like, I have to say, it was one of the best things I've did.
Yeah, no, it was, Ireland was 10-1, was it? Was it 10-1?
10-1,
7 finishes.
Yeah.
Like, what an unbelievable, what a way to put your, for the country, the team, to put your stamp on the tournament like that. And then obviously Sinead did have a loss, but she had probably arguably the fight of the tournament against Chanel Dyer, who's going to be massive. Mohammed made his debut. I've been looking forward to his debut. He was supposed to fight on Cage actually.
Yeah.
Man, he looks like he's going to be serious. Mitch Good, the guy he beat, is one of the best, probably the best in the UK.
Yeah. Like, we all knew kind of how good his grappling was. So we were like, well, I just heard of him, like, hearing of his grappling, like, you know, he's a sound bloke as well, obviously, and then hearing how good of his grappling was, you're like, right, he's gonna go in and just like kind of, like, obviously take him down or whatever, and then he hits some fellow with a left hook, and you're like, oh. I think he actually put up a video the other day, and it's from Ross's camera, and he catches him on the left hook, and I'm like, oh, like, you're just like, this fella has knockout power and he has grappling. You're like, straight away, you're like, this fella's gonna be something special. Like, it's mental.
No, he definitely looks like, because every time Gamma comes up, he seems to be winning gold, and he beats everybody, it looks like. So with the Four Nations, you split it again. Next year, you're going to look towards doing the nationals again to try and get to the IMAS. And if you and Jordan just say, I don't know, I think you might be in different weight classes next year. I think you're going to bantamweight now, are you?
Yeah,
and he's incredible. If I was going to ask if he actually came together in the final, would you be going to the Super Cup this time? Because last time it was him.
Well, yeah, like, that was the thing. Like, a lot of people were saying, like, about the Super Cup and all that. That was actually never the issue. It was nothing to do with the Super Cup. Like, Jordan actually, like, people are saying, oh, he split the goal and that thing or whatever. Jordan was saying to me, like, I had the 1 fight, and I had the 2, so you can just take the goal. And I was like, it doesn't really matter. Like, fuck, it's only a medal. Like, I couldn't give a bollocks about a medal, like, to be honest, like, you know. And then it was the same at the Four Nations. I was like, right, well, if we have to split it, I was like, you had the 2 fights, I had the 1, so you can get the goal and I can take silver. Is that not fair? So technically, he was like, to me, at the nationals, you can have the gold, but I had a fight the week after against. I was on Cage Conflict defending the belt, and plus I was actually away. I was going away the week later, so I had never actually had planned. I didn't even really know what Super Cup was. I think I touched on this the last time. I didn't really know what it was till about a week before it, because I heard people talking about it, but I didn't really pay attention. I didn't think if you won the nationals, you go to this.
Yeah.
So it was never in me head. It was like, oh, if we win the nationals, I'm going to the Super Cup, like, you know. And someone like Jordan deserves it as much as anybody. Deserves it more than anybody. So it was a no-brainer. I was like, I'm fighting next week, plus I'm going away. he's not fighting next week. He's not going away or whatever. He should go to the Super Cup. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. But yeah, if the opportunity came around again, look, I'll have to see if the pro is kind of if that's in the works or whatever. So it's just kind of get these few fights out of the way and then see what happens from there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, obviously with the Super Cup, like you said, it kind of came out of nowhere, and then it was like the Nationals, and then it was like 2 weeks later or something, wasn't it? And it was just kind of like that. Obviously, next year it'll be better organised and stuff, because I think the Nationals was rushed to do that, and I think is that going to be the way they pick the team for the like the Worlds and the Euros for the rest of the year, or are they going to do more tournaments? I don't know.
No, yeah, I think what it is, as far as I'm aware, it's the winners, first and second. Like, so you have, I think, first and second seed get automatic choice what they want to do. So I think that's the Euros and the Worlds, and then third and fourth get a choice as well. No one else wanted to do the Four Nations or whatever. I think anybody else could have actually did that as well, so I don't think they count. So I think it's the Euros and the World, which are set to be announced. So obviously me and Jordan first pick because we were gold and silver. So I think that's the way they're going to go about it. So I think from next year on, I think you'll see a lot more people doing it, because they're like, right, we'll have to win to get to the IMFs, which I think is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Like you see like some people doing it and they've like maybe going over as a debut, which isn't, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, they could go over and do well, but I just think now earning the spot, which is this is the first year we did it, makes us so much more makes us so much more special. You have to earn it, you have to go in, you have to fighting the best people in the country, you have to earn in your spot onto the team. It's the way it should be done. I think they do it in boxing. You know, like you have to obviously win and then win the All Irelands and stuff like that. I think I'm not too sure how that works, but I think they do some sort of way that whoever wins the nationals and stuff goes to represent the country at a national level. I think that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. I think that's going to be the way moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is, because, like I said, as amateurs, you want to gain experience. You're going to fight the best in the country, then to go fight the best in the world, etc. So I think it's a fairer way as well, because you could go, I think they used to do it based off like a training session or something before, or like a light spar or something. But like someone could have an off day. Well, I suppose you could have that on a fight as well. But like you don't really get to see someone in full flight, you know, that sort of way. I think it is better. It's more exciting for the likes of me as well, because I have more stuff to watch.
Exactly,
and you can rack it up. So moving on, you're going to be fighting Karma Conway. You're dropping down a weight class. You won the belt and you've defended it once. I'm correct, yeah? So you've done that. You're going to try and get another belt, because you usually see amateur, they don't really defend. Are you planning on defending the belts at cage conflicts? Because a lot of people use them then to move on to pro. But I think you want to stay amateur for a while, maybe.
Yeah, like there's not like, it's not so much as like, oh, it's the belt. I actually like cage conflict as a show. Like the lads are always nice, you know what I mean? Liam and Patrick and all, they're always really good. The shows that they put on are fucking excellent. They always put on great shows. Like I'd have a few of the lads coming up to watch, and they'd be always like, the way they put on, it's so professionally run. So I think it's more so the show, actually just kind of wanting to fight in the show is more of, like, is more important kind of for me. Like, you know, obviously the belt is good to have, like, you know, and the move down to bantamweight, like, I don't know, like, if people are saying, like, defend this or that, it's just kind of, the move to bantamweight was the main thing for me, because obviously, as an amateur, we're doing this to obviously go pro eventually, so it was just time for me to go bantam, so it's like, right, I'm going to use my little time left as an amateur to really focus on maybe my weight cuts and stuff. I don't walk around heavy, like, I was already, like, nearly on weight there the other day, so, and I'm fighting at 61, people think, like, I fight a lot heavier, so for me, it's just kind of focusing on really getting the weight cuts right, getting me training right for 61, and that's the most important thing for me. So it's not about all belts and this and that. It's just kind of, like focusing on the weight and stuff like that. So for when I go pro, I'm ready to rock straight away, you know.
Yeah, no, that's good that you're towards the end of your amateur career, you're actually tapering in to get ready for the pro, because sometimes a lot of people fight unless they lightweight and then they go straight in a featherweight and they've never experienced that.
Exactly.
So obviously you're doing it the right way going forward. I believe you have a good record, CMAC do in general. I think it's 12-1. I think your gym actually has that cage conflict as well.
We always do. We actually always say that, like, cage conflict, and even the Devonish. Before Cage Warriors Academy up there as well, so the Devonish is like a good home run for us, and then the one fight we lost, it was a very close loss as well, so it wasn't like it was anything too anything too malicious or whatever, so it's always like nearly a good home run for us up there, so I like fighting on that show.
You see, CMAC does, and CMAC actually does quite well in the IMAF. I think they're the highest. They have the highest percentage of medaling when they go there as well. So obviously, it's a good gym when it comes to tournaments and when it comes to the Devonish.
Yeah.
Cameron Conway, very experienced fighter.
Yeah.
How much are you looking forward to fighting someone like him who's been around for so long?
Yeah, it's great. Like, you know, Carl, obviously, he gets in and fights every fucking week. Like, he's doing kind of what a lot of people say, as in, like, get as much fucking experience as possible, and he's doing it, like, you know, so we have to get fucking fair balls to him. Like, he's getting in every week, he's getting in fighting. And I want to be fighting someone like that. Like, you don't want to be fighting, like, cunts that are just, like, fucking picking a fight every so often. Like, you know, Carl's getting in there, he's getting experience. And obviously, going back to that, I'm going pro. I want to be fighting people like this. I want to be fighting tough cunts. Like, he's a tough bastard. Like, and this is what I want to do. I want to be fighting people like him. I want to get in and I want to show my skill set and show how good I am, while getting that experience against someone who is so fucking active. You know, I don't think you're gonna get more active fighter in the country at the minute.
Definitely not.
And Carl, so like, who else is that better to fight? Like, you know what I mean? And it's not like, oh, went down my way to fight him. The fight was offered. Like, yeah, take Carl, definitely. Like, so yeah, can't wait. I'm buzzing now. 2 weeks from yesterday. So ready to rock.
Yeah, no. And then there's the possibility of being a double champ then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that fight. I actually haven't been to a cage conflict, so I really want to get up there for that. You're 10-0. You haven't lost yet, right? Okay? And I'm not saying I want you to. How do you think you'll handle a loss if that does come along in your amateur career?
Yeah, like, that's as well. Like, I'm putting myself in these tough situations by doing the nationals, by doing the Four Nations, like, fighting good guys, going over to the Euros and the Worlds now, hopefully for the end of the year, is because I want to have the hardest fights possible. If I keep winning, then it's like, right, I'm fucking good.
Yeah.
If I lose, it's not like, well, if you win, you shouldn't be like, oh, like, I'm the best ever, like, you know what I mean? Obviously, shit can happen on days, so you can't let wins get, like, go over your head, or, like, you can't let it get cocky, like, nearly. You can't be cocky about a win. But the same thing about a loss, you can't let yourself get down over it. Yeah. So, as I'm going back to that thing, is the thing of, I'm doing this purely to get better. If I lose, fuck it, it's a loss. Once I'm not injured, I don't really care. Yeah. Like, there's been times I've come out of fights and I've won and I haven't been happy. So I'm sure, like, even if I come out with a loss that I actually thought, right, I've wanted to focus on this for this fight and I've done that, I'd come out happy. Then, like, fair enough, I can just use that and use it onto the next fight. But as I've said, like, there's been fights where I've won and I haven't been happy. So if there's a fight where I can add in something that I want to improve on, even if it's a loss, but I've done that well, I can say, yeah, right, I can move on and fucking use that in the next fight. So yeah, a loss, I don't think the loss will affect if I do get one, which, like, amateur, that's why I kind of doing it. You don't want your first loss at pro, fucking do that amateur, and, like, you're going to the Euros and the Worlds, and that's where you're most likely probably to get it. So if it happens, it happens, you fucking move on. You don't sit around fucking crying, you get back in the gym and you train harder, and I know it'll probably even make me hungry if I do. So yeah, that's the way you're looking at it for me.
Yeah, it's a good learning tool to see maybe where other people, if there's a deficiency or someone can see something in your game, because then you can identify then if someone does if there is a hole somewhere or something you can work on better, it's a learning tool then to go forward. Yeah. I'm not saying I hope you lose now.
No, yeah.
But I just said, but obviously, with all those fights so far, I want to ask you, what's your favourite fight or what's your favourite finish that you've had so far? Because you have a few finishes on your record.
Obviously, like, I think the first, not the nationals, because of, like, it was obviously the first nationals and getting that, like, the Keogh Plata. That was nice as well. That was obviously a real nice one. The last one on cage conflict was nice as well. I think just because I had, like, a lot of my family and stuff there, and pulling off a good submission against a good lad from a good gym was really nice. I think, like, coming out and fighting on the show was, like, obviously our adrenaline's much more fucking buzzing, so maybe that could have been a factor, like, of just getting that, or, like, you have obviously our family there in the crowd there, it was something special, you know, then celebrating and stuff after. That was probably one of my favourite. Well, obviously two of them this year, but that was probably my favourite, definitely, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, the Keogh Plata was good.
Yeah, the Keogh Plata was nice.
There was a bit of a debate about what we were going to call, what it was going to be called, wasn't it? I think was it Mark Goddard then clarified it and said it was
Irish something, but no, I'm sticking with the Keogh Plata.
The Keogh Plata, bringing that all the way to the UFC.
Yeah.
With all those, I just want to ask you, what do you think, because you're 10-0, what do you think makes you different to other fighters? Like, is there something, like an attribute, a mindset or something? What do you think makes you different to other fighters?
Yeah, probably a mindset, like, you know, and I think it's probably my team. I honestly do, like, I think it's my team. Like, I think CMAC, for me, obviously starting here, I've never changed gyms. I've always stuck with what my coach has said. Listen, you always hear fighters preach about do what your coach says. I've always done what my coach says, and it's got me so far. Like, not that it's got me so far, but it's done me well. It's done me well so far.
Yeah.
And obviously, I want to keep fucking knocking on from that. So I think sticking with the same coach, sticking with my same gym, my same training partners, all that stuff has obviously had a knock-on effect. We've always kind of been mentally good in this gym. Like, as in, like, oh, like, not thinking about this fella's a fucking good fighter. No, it's thinking about experience. And I think thinking about the experience type of fucking mindset, just getting in, fighting and fucking getting better. That's what I think has made me a better fighter. I do think I have a great mindset, as in, I just want to get in, I just want to fight, I just want to improve. That is my main thing. I just want to fucking improve. So none of this, oh shit, I don't want to get in, I don't want to fight him. It's getting in there and improving myself as a fighter, not thinking about how good of my opponent is. It's thinking how good I am, how good of a gym I'm in, how good my training partners are. And I think that is really what kind of separates us. I think a lot of people preach it, but they don't actually have that mindset. But I think a lot of us here do. Like, you see a lot of the lads, even when they lose, they're fucking straight back into fight, and then you see them just getting better every single time. All of us getting better every single time. I think that's what separates us as a gym. Not even just me on my own, but us as a gym collectively. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I'm going to ask you one more question before we go. When your career is said and done, what do you want to be remembered by? If there was a word or a phrase or something, what would you want people to?
Great. I think great would be nice. Like I haven't thought out, like, at the moment, like, I'm obviously kind of only starting out in my career, but who the fuck doesn't want to look back at that career and say that cunt was fucking great? That's my main goal. Like, I'm not in this to fucking play bingo. I'm here to go all the way. Like, I am. Like, there's like, if I had to look back at, like, when I was a kid and I was this little fat cunt down, he started MMA and cunt saying, he's not gonna do nothing, to now, like, winning the nationals, they going over down well at an international stage, they kind of, you know, being considered like a good fighter, like, which I obviously consider myself a good fighter. Like, what's to stop me from being a great fighter? What's to stop me from being one of the best pros out there? Someone that comes from down the road telling you, oh, you're shy, you just can't listen to them. If you are willing to put in the work and you want to put in the work, it's there for you to take. It's there, it's all for the taking. So being great and being one of the best fighters ever, obviously, is something that I fucking aim for. So hopefully I can do that. And with the gym around me, I think we will do that. Yeah.
No, I can't wait to follow the rest of your career. I can't wait to see your fight with Carl. I can't wait to follow the rest of your career. I want to thank you so much for your time today.
No, thanks for having me on there. Thanks
pleasure.
very much. Thank you.
Problem.
Cheers.